Hi, my name is Sue, and this is a chair yoga practice. All you need is a chair for this practice and a little bit of time. I'm using a swivel chair today so that I can demonstrate for you and show you from different angles, but I do recommend that you use a solid chair that doesn't move around and one where you can keep the feet pressed on the floor. First, I would like to go over some of the benefits of a yoga practice, or particularly even the chair yoga practice. It helps to increase flexibility when we move through the poses. It also helps to strengthen your muscles and your joints when we hold the poses too. And this type of mindfulness practice of moving while connecting the experience with the breath also helps to reduce stress in our mind and in our bodies. And one of my favorite benefits from this practice is that I get a really good night's sleep after I've practiced in the day, or sometimes a little bit closer to the evening as well. So I hope you will join me in this practice. Keep an open mind. You don't need any experience to do this. Like I said, just the chair. So the first thing that I wanted to show you and address is posture in the chair. And when we move through the poses, to have this type of posture, which is really an ideal one, so that we have our spine aligned and stacked. Now, when we're sitting, if you sit in a chair all day, so it's hard for you to actually get up and maybe move around, and that's why you're coming to this chair yoga practice, so that, in between your work, or if you're sitting all day, and you can't leave, then you can use this practice right on the chair. But we might be sitting like this all day, right? Kind of slouched over and scooping the hips under like this. Or if you drive even all day, we tend to kind of round the spine, our heads come forward too. So that type of posture really collapses our rib cage, right? It collapses the chest, the space where we need actually to have lengthening, to grow tall, and expansion all around so that the lungs can expand when we breathe in. We're literally making it harder for us to breathe if we're sitting closed off like this. And spending so many hours in the day kind of slumped over like this too does have an effect on our minds and our psyche and our emotions as well. We don't really feel confident when we spend most of our time like this, right? We're kind of like closed off, tired too, fatigued because our heads are hanging forward. And remember, by not being able to take in full breaths, by closing here at the chest and rib cage, we're also not feeling vital, and we're not getting that oxygen we need in each breath to fuel the rest of the body. So here's that good posture I'm talking about. The feet are steady down with the knees bent. Hands come to your hips so you can find the pelvis, which is that the skeleton, the bony bowl. And if you're holding here at the pelvis, if you scoop your tailbone under, like I'm doing here where the chest comes forward and it's harder to take that full breath, then you'll notice the pelvis tilts back. Try to tilt the pelvis upward, and it feels like your tailbone just came out from under your seat, and a little bit even forward. So if you were to touch your hand at your lower back, right at that bony plate, right by the tailbone, you feel like you're able to point the hand right down. The tailbone is straight down. It's not scooped under. And that's what we're working to organize here. You might have to just kind of lift your hips, the flesh, buttock, and thigh to send it back a little bit more. So what we end up with is a nice neutral back. And when we do that, you'll notice that helps to bring the chest upright, and your head finds its balance a little bit better upright too. So this is a nice tall posture, not the easiest way, right, to work all day, but it is something to remind ourselves of if we've been slumping for a while. You can also bring a pillow to your lower back to keep your back in position if that helps you, right? But here's where we begin. The feet are down, and inhale breath. Reach your right arm all the way up alongside the ears. If it feels really tight in the shoulder, you might have to bend the elbow to get there. And then take a few moments. It might take a breath or two to keep reaching the fingertips up. So we're starting to open the side body, and we want that space between the ribs to lengthen a bit more too, so that we can make it easier to breathe. Your left hand can stay on the thigh or hold onto the seat of the chair. And we're going to bend over towards left side without letting the right hip or buttock lift. Careful that your head doesn't come forward. You can keep your head aligned right here over the shoulder. And we reach, active through the fingertips. And then breathing in and out through the nose best you can as we open the side body. Use your exhale breath next to lower the hand down to the thigh, the lap, or right to hold onto the chair. Left arm comes up. Fingertips reach up. Arm comes close alongside the ears. You can always modify if there's any tension in the neck or shoulders with the elbow bend. And then with an exhale, you bend over towards the right as the left arm reaches. So I'm bending my right elbow because I can move over. I want to make sure we're not keeping it straight and doing one of these, like locking the shoulders up. And we're feeling this left side body open. When things feel tight, we might immediately stop the breath because we're trying to just like be there and pay attention and try not to move anymore. Make sure you're breathing. Inhale and exhale through the nose. Then inhale again and exhale. We'll lower the hands down, right to the thighs. Relax the shoulders. Maybe they need a little bit of a rolling up and down so they can settle down away from the ears. And you might feel a lot of sensation right here in the side body where you just awakened. And we'll take a moment just to close our eyes. Let the eyelids fold down. The mouth is closed, the jaw is relaxed. And we're taking this opportunity to notice the breath. We're inhaling through the nose and doing our best to exhale out slowly through the nose as well. And just by shifting our attention to the breath, this is a practice in mindfulness. It doesn't have to be complicated. We don't have to focus on something. It doesn't have to be a meditation. This is your mindfulness practice. Just noticing the breath. How does it feel coming in through the nose? How long can you pull the breath in without it feeling like a struggle? And as you exhale out, emptying long, feeling the belly button drop towards your back and spine as you finish the breath. The breath doesn't have to be a certain length. You're just noticing it here right now, where it is. You're meeting yourself where you are at this exact moment in your day. And whatever it is at, whatever the breath is at, wherever you're at is good. It's okay. We're not supposed to be in a particular place, position. We're not supposed to have the breath be exactly some way. We're giving ourselves a chance here to carve out this time for ourselves, for our self-care, so that the body can feel a little better. And that will help the mind feel a little bit less agitated. And hopefully we can make better decisions and have an improved mood throughout our day, interacting with the people around us too. So to create a little bit more harmony with our body and mind so we can have more harmony in our lives outside. Open the eyes when you're ready. Maybe take a few blinks. A fresh perspective. And then reach the arms out to the side, fingers spread wide. And let's connect that movement with breath. Inhale, arms come up, palms can come together. Exhale as the palms turn down. The fingertips just reach down past your chair if you can. And then coming back up, inhale. Arms come up, palms together, and your exhale, fingertips down. You're keeping your hips level and you're staying in this really good posture. And we haven't tucked the tailbone under. Inhale breath to connect the movement of the arms up. Exhale breath to lower the arms down. And you're moving at the speed of your breath. If it's a little bit faster, your arms are going up faster on the inhale. If you're able to go a little bit slower, then you're taking your time as you lower the arms down. And if your neck feels comfortable, maybe you're looking up to see the hands meet overhead. And then as you exhale, perhaps you're just turning your gaze downward, a spot on the floor perhaps. Inhale again as the arms reach up. Exhale again as fingers spread wide and they lower down. Now bring the arms up again. Here we'll meet and interlace the fingers together. Press the palms forward, thumbs pointing down, and then turn the palms up towards the ceiling. And feel your armpits opening out to the sides. Maybe you need to bend the elbows to feel those arms move back any amount. Make sure the neck is able to move. You don't want it so tight with the neck and the shoulders. Keep grounding the feet down too. Press firmly with the soles of the feet. And as the feet press down, your palms feel like they're stepping on the ceiling. And you feel nice and tall in the spine. Side body feels long too. With an exhale, bend your elbows and bring your hands right to the back of your head. And we're staying with that nice tall posture, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. And we're gonna press our heads back against the hands. So I'm gonna turn so you can see, I'm pointing my elbows out to the side. I'm keeping the shoulders moving away from the ears. And as I resist my head back to lift the chin, I'm feeling a nice opening in the chest. It feels like the muscles around my collarbones are getting a good stretch. Front of the chest, front of the shoulders. And make sure you're still breathing. Inhale. And then exhale, elbows come close to the temples, chin tucks close towards the chest and collarbones. And so we can get a stretch in the back of the neck. We're still keeping our hips down without scooping the tailbone under, but we're just letting our chin curl towards the chest to get this really nice stretch between the shoulder blades and right at the back of the neck. Then rising up, lifting the chin, elbows open out to the side again. Neutral spine here. On your exhale, twist towards your right. So you might be looking over to the right side. Then lower your right elbow, forearm down on the armrest behind you. So make sure that your right shoulder doesn't kind of hike up towards your ears. Wherever you're able to keep the arm down, relax the right shoulder down, and your hand is still behind your head. If you get fatigued, you lower the arm down, you shake out the hand, and you come back and join when you can. Press your head back against the hand, that resistance, so that you can remember to keep your head over the shoulders. And as you keep the feet firmly planting down, twist your chest towards the right side. And you might feel a nice stretch here in the front of the right chest, right shoulder rolling back. And then with your eyes, look behind you, maybe over the right shoulder. Lower your left hand down to the outside of the right knee or the thigh, just so you can resist against it. And you might find that it helps you twist a little bit more, turning the upper chest towards the right, looking behind you. One more breath here. Inhale, feel the spine grow tall, crown of the head reaching for the ceiling. And then on your exhale, just recoil back to center. You might feel that little bit of crookedness, like you're lingering and you want to go back to the right side. So we'll give ourselves a moment to reset and we'll come to the second side. Back to interlace fingers, hands behind your head, shoulders relaxed, away from the ears, elbows out to the side. And then exhale breath to twist towards your left. Keeping the good posture, feet grounding down. Lower your left elbow or forearm down to the back of your chair. And you're keeping the right hand behind your head as a reminder to press the head back, not to push your head forward, but to keep your head aligned over the shoulders. Roll the left shoulder back like I did there so that we're not hiking it up towards the ear. And then keeping the chest twisting towards the left side, you can lower the right hand down just to the outside of the left knee. And as you kind of resist the hand against it, you might find that you're able to twist a little bit deeper. So in this twist, you're feeling the upper chest turning towards the left. But of course, the hips and the knees are facing forward still. And you're looking over the left shoulder, and deepening that stretch in the right side of the neck too. Make sure you're still able to breathe. Inhale breath to lengthen the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And your exhale breath, as you empty the breath, you have more room here to just twist to where you can go. Then come back to center, kind of feel your spine, just recoil your body, recoil back to center. And it might feel good to just kind of roll the shoulders up, back, and around. Okay. Elbows bend, hands come back, lean forward a little bit to interlace the fingers behind your back. So clasped hands at your lower back. And once you have the clasped hands, roll the shoulders back. Sorry, my hair's in the way. You can't see my shoulders. Roll the shoulders back. I'll turn to the side again. So you see that I'm not trying to push forward here. I'm trying to lift best I can, right? Because it's tight in the chest and we're trying to open in that space. Straighten the elbows any amount. So your fists might be coming down right by your tailbone, right towards your seat. And from here, belly button draws in. We're feeling the heart space open. Pull the throat back. You might look up, lift the chin. Right? This is a shape of the body that we don't come to often in our day, and certainly not if we're working at our desks and we're hunched over a lot, or if we're looking at our devices a lot. I know a lot of us are home on Zoom, online working, online learning. Take another breath, inhale, it might be tight in the chest, but boy, do we need this. And then exhale, releasing the hands, letting your head just kind of bobble back in place. And take a moment to notice nice opening along the arms, front of the chest, a little bit more strength in your lower back to keep your chest up, right? Already there's a shift. Already you can experience a change. It's really hard for it to experience the possibility that things can change when we're stuck in the same pattern all the time, right? How can we think anything can change if we're always doing the same thing? So this is our opportunity to move with our bodies, to remind ourselves that it's totally possible to feel different within a few moments, to connect with the breath, to open the body, to increase circulation and oxygen in the body, and how that affects our minds, our thoughts. So just take a moment to recognize a little shift perhaps, and then we keep going. I'm gonna move back a little bit further here so that you can see my feet better. Keep the left foot grounding down and lift your right heel up. So you can see, I just moved, I'm gonna show you here, the heel is lifted like tippy toe. Okay, interlace the fingers again and slide the hand just over the shin below the knee and pick up that leg by bending the elbows and bring the thigh close. And you're gonna lower the toes down as you hinge forward, keeping your hips back, so without tucking the tailbone under. And again, interlace fingers, elbows bend to bring the knee up. And again, as you hover forward to tap the toes down, one more time, we're gonna lift that knee up. Do the best you can to keep that knee lifted, belly button drawing in, and then look mono hands, let go of the knee for a moment. You could hold onto the seat of your chair, and maybe if that helps you stay upright. I know it's easier to round the spine here, make sure the chin hasn't come forward, because right now this is strengthening that hip. Try to lift that knee a little bit higher on your own. Stay tall with the chest, inhale, and then exhale, lower the foot down. It's deceivingly challenging, right? It's a deceivingly challenging thing. Just because we sit all the time, if we do sit all the time, it doesn't mean that this shape is also strong, right? That hip flexor that needs to lift the thigh still needs some work. Okay, let's do the other leg, see how it goes. Make sure the hips are level, the feet are down. We hinge forward, so we can interlace the fingers, lift your left heel up off the floor, and it's gonna help pop the knee up a little bit higher, and you're gonna bring the hands over the shin. Bend your elbows to help lift the knee close. Ooh, my right foot lifted, I have to keep that down, and without rounding the spine. And then lower the toes down as you just hinge forward, and then rise up again, elbows bend. You really need to have those arms working to lift, and then lower the toes down. And then once more, lifting up, keeping the tailbone from tucking under, keeping the head aligned over the shoulders best you can to keep that knee close. And then look mono hands, either bringing the hands out to the side or holding onto the chair. Keep your head over the shoulders. Feel the crown of your head lengthening up, and keep working that hip close towards the belly. Keep lifting the knee close towards the chest. And that's your muscles, your hip flexors strong, working to bring that leg in place. Belly button feels strong, drawing into the spine. And then exhale, step the foot down. Give your knees a little shake, knock in and out, just to kind of shake up that circulation too. And coming back to the right, we're gonna pick up that right leg again. Cake, right? Because we just kind of prepped it. Pick up the leg, and you might have to hold your hand under the right thigh. Move the knee out to the side a little bit as you keep the right foot flexed, and place that right outer ankle on your left thigh. So figure four leg. You might have had to use your hands to help get the legs there. If by doing this, you kind of hunched again, it's really about keeping good posture here, then you might have to hold on to the seat of your chair, lean forward, and send your right buttock and thigh back a little bit. And that might feel nicer on the knee as well, and it might actually lower down a bit if it was a bit higher too. If your knee doesn't look like this and it's up here a little bit higher, that's okay, right? Like, I'm a little bit more flexible than you perhaps, and so the knee is here. If it's a little bit higher, as long as the knee feels okay and you're not rounding in the back, then we're working to open maybe some tight muscles around the hip. So once your leg is in this position, you can hold on to the seat, or just rest your hands on the thighs if that feels good too. Sit up really tall first. you're going to feel the sitting bones rooting down, and that foot on the floor is also pressing down to keep you stable, right? What a difference. If you don't think about the left foot, it's kind of lazy. You're just paying attention to here, right? But as soon as you press the left foot down, you're like, ooh, a reminder of the rest of your body firming to help support you. This is a lot, then this is where you are. If you can go a little bit deeper because you have a little bit more opening at the hips, or you want to try, hinge from your hips. I'm going to show you from the side here because this is important. I'm bringing my chest forward. I'm not leading with my head to get there. So keep your head aligned over the shoulders and lead with your heart forward, right? You see that my back hasn't rounded, but I'm feeling this. I'm really feeling this in my right outer hip, inner thigh. The back of the thighs feels it too. I'm keeping my right foot flexed. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale, exhale, and then inhale again to rise up. We'll release the right foot down. Maybe feel a nice difference between the legs. Second side. Pick up the left leg. You might have to hold the thigh out to the side a little bit to give it room for the left outer ankle to rest over the right thigh. Same organization here, right? You can kind of send your booty back if you need to. Left thigh back a little bit more if the knee feels like it's hiking up a lot. Keep the left foot flexed. And maybe you're holding onto the seat of the chair, or hands just kind of rest on the thighs. Remember, the right foot that's on the floor is grounding down. So as you press the sole of the foot down, you feel the whole right leg energize. Your hips can stay stable too. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, start to hinge from the hips. I'm going to turn to the side again so you can see. Not leading with the head, leading with the center of the chest forward. And when you start to feel the singing muscles, the ones that are talking to you, take a moment to respond with breathing. So often when we do these types of practices, we're not used to stretching muscles that are not used to being stretched. Then we mistake that in our heads for like, oh, this is pain. It's a type of discomfort, right? It's definitely not something that's a pleasant feeling, but we want to be careful that just because there's a little bit of discomfort, that we're not just immediately avoiding it. It's a little bit of that discomfort that helps to open what we need to open, right? So if you're in that discomfort and you've been breathing here with me for these few breaths already, and it feels a little bit less uncomfortable, then you're great. Then it's just muscles that need a chance to get some oxygen and breathe into it. If the discomfort is exactly the same as you stay in a pose, if you feel it at the joints or somewhere, then you know when to pull back, then come out of it, right? So if you start to feel in the meat of the muscles some dissipation, we'll rise up on our inhale and you can release the left foot down. So as I was saying, if you start to feel if you feel discomfort and it sustains, even though you're breathing calmly, best you can, about 5 breaths, and it feels exactly the same and there's no change, then it's a good reason for you to pull back and take it easy and ease up if you can. And again, the reminder is if you're in that, oh, it's time, I'm a little uncomfortable, but you breathe and you start to notice, okay, it's gotten a little better, it's getting a little better, then that's how we know it's the good kind of discomfort. And there is a lot of good kinds of discomfort, right? The ones that help us respond to some stress in our lives. Of course, we're going to have stress in our lives, but it's how we respond to it. So we train ourselves with the good kind of discomforts to say, it's okay. There's a thing. It's a little uncomfortable, but if I can remember to breathe, know that it gets a little bit better with each breath, and then I can make a better choice instead of panicking, right? With agitation otherwise. Okay, almost done. Bring the feet a little bit wider apart, like this, and tilt your chest forward again. So at this point, hopefully your back is feeling good and the back of the thighs feel good too. And we're trying to get our bellies down somewhere between the thighs. They might just touch the thighs too, so the rest of the thighs, that's fine, but you want to make as much room as you can for the middle of the body to lower. And you can keep your hands resting on the knees and then let your head hang here. If your hands come down comfortably to the floor, then you can do that as well. And then once the chest is down a lot, then you can let your head hang here. And you'll feel the weight of your head. You might want to shake it out. Yes, shake it out. No. And then just notice how heavy your head can feel. Create a little bit of space here in your neck and cervical spine. Inhale and exhale. Press the feet first firmly to the floor. Then bring your hands up to the thighs if they were touching the floor. If your hands are already on the thighs, you're pressing against them to lift the chest up. I always feel very refreshed after something like that. And in our yoga practice, we often close with a gesture of the hands coming together, palms pressed. They're like prayer hands. I like to come to prayer hands here as a reminder of bringing together two halves, two things, right side with the left. And in this practice, mind with body. And then I bring that connection, thumbs closer to the center of the heart. And I'll close my eyes and perhaps you'll join me with your eyes closed. And one more opportunity to notice the breath, how it is right now. Perhaps it's a little bit different from when we first started noticing the breath. And in a short amount of time that we're able to experience a shift, a change of how the body feels and perhaps how the mind responds to the breath and how the body is moved. And it doesn't have to be any more than this. And you are perfect as you are. You are enough as you are. Sometimes we just need to remind ourselves of this. So taking the time out in our days, carving out a little bit of space for our self-care is so vital, so important. Thank you very much for sharing this practice. Namaste.